Commission meeting. We're glad you could join us. We do have a quorum and then some. A few housekeeping items to go over before we begin. Please turn off or silence all your personal communication devices. The applicant and members of the public may speak to any item before the Plan Commission when the relevant item to which you wish to speak is called and public comment is open. Unless an exception is made by the Plan Commission, the following rules will apply. The applicant is given up to 10 minutes to present any information they wish the Plan Commission to consider. Thereafter, members of the public will be given up to 5 minutes to address the specific item before the Plan Commission for consideration. Members of the public may speak only once per called agenda item unless the Plan Commission member requires clarification or wishes to ask you a question. Questions or statements from the audience will not be considered. Only statements from the podium after your stated name and address and within the allowed time constraints are taken into consideration. After all community members have had the opportunity to speak on the called agenda item, the applicant will be asked if they have a final statement for the Plan Commission, and then the Commission may take action on the agenda item. The Common Council has adopted rules of decorum for city boards and commissions, including the adoption of a civility pledge. No person shall personally attack a board member or commission member, city official or staff, or any other person. No person shall make irrelevant, unduly repetitious, offensive, threatening, slanderous, defamatory, or obscene remarks, or act in such a way, in such a manner as to disrupt or disturb the orderly conduct of the meeting, including hand clapping, stomping of the feet, whistling, shouting, or other demonstration. Thank you for your understanding, and now on to the agenda. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bowen?
Here.
Ms. Shireman? Ms. Praw?
Here.
Mr. Rucker?
Here.
Councilmember Nichols? Mr. Belleville?
Here.
Ms. Davy?
Here.
Mr. Lowenstein?
Here.
Vice Chair Kiefer?
Here.
Chairman Perry. 7 board members present.
Okay, first item is approval of the March 4th, 2025 minutes.
Move to accept as written.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, we can have a voice vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you. The minutes have passed.
I would just like to introduce everybody to our new planning manager, Kimberly Girak. Kimberly comes to us from Shawano, but has a lot of other experience in other cities and other states. So we're very happy that she is here. You'll be seeing her face around the table more in the future. And we're really excited that she's here and welcome her input. So just a friendly reminder for everybody to make sure we're talking into the mics here, just so everybody can hear. But thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 1 on the agenda is a consent agenda item. There are 3 items on the consent agenda. Is there any member of the Plan Commission that wishes to pull any of these items? Okay, if none, then seeing none, the Plan Commission, the action is upon you for these consent agenda items.
Move to adopt the findings and recommendations of these, all 3 of them as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bowen?
Aye.
Ms. Praw?
Aye.
Mr. Rucker?
Aye.
Mr. Belleville?
Aye.
Ms. Davy?
Aye.
Mr. Lowenstein?
Aye.
And Vice Chair Kiefer.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0 for all 3 consent items.
Okay, item number 2 is a public hearing. It's a zone change from heavy industrial district to a heavy industrial district with a planned development overlay and approval of a general development plan for outdoor storage at 2750 Vinland Street. 2750 Vinland LLC is the owner, and Mach 4 Engineering and Surveying is the applicant. Have there been any site inspections? Okay. Staff report is accepted as part of the record. Can you please report your summary?
Thank you, Chairman. The subject site consists of a 38-acre parcel located on the southeast corner of Industrial Avenue and Vinland Street. The site includes 5 multi-tenant industrial buildings, loading areas, and associated parking lots. The site is zoned heavy industrial, and the surrounding area is a mixture of residential and industrial land uses. The 2040 Comprehensive Land Use Plan recommends mixed use for the subject site. The applicant is requesting a zone change from the heavy industrial district to heavy industrial district with a plan development overlay. The requested plan development overlay designation is intended to allow flexibility in the zoning ordinance to allow for the construction of an outdoor storage area behind the easternmost building. The applicant has submitted plans for the outdoor storage area, which will be addressed as part of the GDP and the SIP review, and the GDP will be reviewed in the staff report. Staff is supportive of the proposed zone change to include a plan development overlay, as it will serve to accommodate future development needs for the site, and it will also provide further review for compatibility with neighboring residential properties. Again, the applicant is proposing to construct an approximately 3-acre gravel outdoor storage area. The heavy industrial district allows for outdoor storage as a conditional use. Staff does not have any concerns with the proposed outdoor storage area, as it is compatible with the surrounding industrial land uses to the west and the south of the property, and is consistent with the industrial storage use of the site. The applicant is proposing that new storage area along with fencing and a berm, lighting, and modifying the existing stormwater facilities within the site. Code requires outdoor storage areas to be screened from any non-industrialized areas by any permitted combination of buildings, structures, walls, and solid fencing. Such walls and fencing shall be a minimum of 8 feet in height and shall be designed to completely screen all stored items from the view of those non-industrialized areas. As the neighboring properties are industrial zoned to the west and the north, screening will only need to be provided along the east property line and along the south side of the outdoor storage area where that site abuts residentially zoned property. The applicant is proposing to install 8-foot solid fencing, 8-foot fencing that is 90% opaque on the south side of the outdoor storage area, which will meet the necessary screening requirements. The applicant is also proposing a 6-foot chain link fence along the east side of the outdoor storage area. A base standard modification is needed for that chain link fence, and the BSM will be addressed during the SIP process. With this, sign renderings were not included with this request, and those will also be required to be submitted and reviewed as part of the SIP request. A photometric lighting plan has not been submitted and will be required as part of the SIP request. A landscape plan was not included in this submittal, but the outdoor storage area requires yard landscaping, and buffer yard landscaping is required along the neighboring multifamily residential zone properties to the east of the site. The applicant will need to meet all landscaping requirements or apply for BSMs as part of the SIP process. For yards, code requires 30 landscaping points per 1,000 square feet of gross floor area of the outdoor storage area, and then, like I said earlier, landscaping points will be verified during the SIP process. A 0.8 opacity buffer yard is required along the neighboring multifamily residential zone properties. The applicant is providing a 105-foot buffer yard along the east property line with a 6 to 7 foot berm and 6-foot chain link fencing. Code requires 505 landscape points with that berm. And then the applicant will need to demonstrate that that 0.8 opacity buffer yard is being met or apply for a BSM for alternative screening. The Department of Public Works has reviewed the plans and noted that final plans will be required to be in full compliance with the requirements of the Municipal Code Chapter 14 for stormwater management, and this will be addressed during the SIP and site plan review processes. With that, staff recommends approval of the zone change and the general development plan with the findings and the conditions listed in the staff report.
Okay, Plan Commission, any technical questions for staff? Any technical questions? Okay, seeing none. I'm going to open the public hearing, request a statement from the applicant. Is the applicant here? You approach the podium and state your name and address for our records, please.
Hi, Joel Erfurth, Mach 4 Engineering. I think she summed it up pretty well. We're basically requesting modification to the zoning and basically like a conditional use to allow outdoor storage area, expand an area that's currently there. We understand that, you know, that being the GDP, there's components aren't addressed quite yet, so want to get through this first hurdle, and then but the stuff in the staff report is all things that we're anticipating having to be required. I would say, like, if you would keep in mind as well, the area that probably has the least amount of buffering currently in its existing shape is adjacent to the large stormwater pond, so it's not like they'll be looking in the back of directly in back of the building, so it should be pretty well screened by the time we're said and done.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Are there any other members of the public that would like to make a statement? What else? Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing then, and would the applicant like to make a closing statement? No, I get this. Thank you. The commission, the action is upon you.
Motion to adopt the findings and recommendations as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bowen?
Aye.
Ms. Brock?
Aye.
Mr. Rucker?
Aye.
Mr. Bellhill?
Aye.
Ms. Davy?
Aye.
Mr. Lowenstein?
Aye.
Vice Chair Kiefer.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0.
Okay, item number 3 is a specific implementation plan amendment for an ambulatory surgery center at 2130 South Washburn Street. Premier Vision Properties LLC is the owner, and Marvin Tamami is the applicant. Have there been any site inspections? Okay. The staff report is accepted as part of the record. Please report your summary.
Thank you. The subject area is a 3.09 acre parcel located on the east side of South Washburn Street, south of West 20th Avenue. The property is zoned suburban mixed use with a planned development overlay. The surrounding area consists of commercial uses to the south, industrial uses to the west, Interstate 41 to the east, and a cemetery to the north. And the 2040 comprehensive plan recommends interstate commercial for the subject property. In January 2018, Council approved a zone change to add a planned development overlay to the subject site along with the 2 properties immediately to the south. In September of 2023, Council approved a SIP for building entrance and a refuge enclosure additions to the subject site. And then June 2024, Council did approve an SIP amendment for a monument sign on the subject site. And now the applicant is requesting another amendment to the existing SIP for ambulatory surgery center within the building, and then also including parking lot modifications. So plans were previously approved to convert the building to an optometry clinic, and then according to the applicant, one of the current suites is being used as a medical office while the other is vacant. The applicant is proposing to demolish the existing vacant suites interior and build a new ambulatory surgery center and its associated uses. The applicant is proposing to remove 328 square feet of landscape area and 16 parking spaces to accommodate that surgery center. The applicant will be replacing those areas with 4 parking spaces and 791 square feet of landscaping and 1,600 square feet of paved area for a patient pickup area on the south side of the building, and also a trash enclosure on the west of the building. Code does require a minimum of 1 parking space per 300 square feet of gross floor area for personal or professional service uses. This results in the minimum parking requirement of 57 parking spaces, and the remaining 96 parking spaces on site will meet that parking requirement. The plan also includes a refuse enclosure on the west side of the parking lot. As part of this existing SIP review, the applicant requested a BSM to allow for a refuse enclosure to be located between the building and the public street. The plan shows that the refuse enclosure will be 6 feet in height and will be constructed of concrete masonry unit block and smooth finished stucco painted exterior. And this exterior is consistent with the exterior of the principal building. The applicant has provided a photometric plan that shows lighting modifications for lighting on the new discharge area on the north side of the building. However, the plan did not show lighting at the property lines, and this will be addressed during the site plan review process. No new signage plans were included within this request. And all plantings that are being removed on site will need to be relocated. The proposed landscaping plan indicates the existing, relocated, and new plantings and where they will now be located on site. And the provided landscaping points are meeting the necessary requirements. The Department of Public Works has reviewed the plans and has noted that the final submitted plans are required to be in full compliance with Chapter 14 for stormwater management. Here is the north elevations. The applicant is proposing minor changes. On this north elevation, the applicant is proposing to add a door for patient discharge with a small overhead canopy, as well as removing 3 existing windows and replacing them with hollow metal doors. This will allow access to the fire riser room, the vacuum room, and electrical room. And then here are the new and the current west elevations. The applicant is proposing to upgrade the entrance to enclose it in a vestibule, which would span between the building face and the existing entry columns. Code requires alterations to buildings constructed prior to the current zoning ordinance to match or be substantially similar to the existing building design and materials. The applicant has stated that the proposed building materials will match the existing building materials, and staff is supportive of the proposed elevations as they will be matching these existing building materials and will meet commercial design standard requirements. With that, staff is recommending approval of the specific implementation plan amendment with the findings and the conditions listed in the staff report.
Okay, thank you. Planning Commission, any technical questions for staff?
I have a question, thank you. In regards to, and maybe this is inappropriate, I'm not sure yet, this ambulatory surgery center, is this associated with any health organization, or is this like a self-business that is contracted with the local hospitals? And I don't know if that's an appropriate question or not, but just...
I believe it's with the current use, so the New Vision is who is at the site currently. Okay, sorry, you can ask the applicants for more information on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other technical questions? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to open the public comment to request a statement from the applicant. Is the applicant here? And if so, come here, approach the podium and state your name and address for the records, please. Not seeing the applicant, so. Okay, are there any other members of the public that wish to make a statement on this agenda item? Seeing none, seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment period, and Commission, the action is upon you.
Motion to adopt the findings and recommendations as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Okay, do we have a motion? The second, is there any discussion on the motion?
I had the same question when I looked at that. I did make an assumption, and my assumption is that because this is a vision place, that they would be doing eye surgery as an ambulatory surgery center. I know the place I go for that, that's what they do. But, so I guess I didn't expect that to be associated with a hospital at all, just with the, but that's all assumption on my part, and that is what I read from the report. So if you guys don't know anything different, I don't know.
That's kind of my understanding too. I believe it's kind of, they're not really associated together, but I know that's, I think there's similar use there. But I don't know if they necessarily are associated businesses, but I think it's a similar type of eye care.
In fact, one of the doors that you said led into the Vision something or other, didn't it?
Yeah, I believe on this west.
It's on the
The
one
next one?
before this. Where one of those doors, I think you described it as leading into 3 different, like a Vision area, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they're like more so 3 different, 3 different rooms, their fire riser room, their med gas room, and electrical room. So I don't know if
Oh, yeah,
it's
I heard that
necessarily
all
with the
wrong.
next, the clinic. Yes.
Oh, hopefully that doesn't have anything to do with your eyes. Never mind. Yeah.
Okay, are you satisfied with David? Your questions? I mean, you can really give an answer, but any other comments?
I'm satisfied, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on the motion? Seeing none, then we can have a roll call vote.
Mr. Bowen?
Aye.
Ms. Croft?
Aye.
Mr. Rucker?
Aye?
Mr. Belleville?
Aye.
Ms. Davy?
Aye.
Mr. Lowenstein?
Aye.
Vice Chair Kiefer?
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0.
Okay, item number 4 is a public hearing, a zone change from suburban mixed-use district to a suburban mixed-use district with a plan development overlay and approval of a general development plan and specific implementation plan for a drive-through coffee shop at 1120 South Kohler Street. Mill Brew Holdings is the owner and the applicant. Have there been any site inspections?
Yes. Aye?
Thank you.
Staff report is accepted as part of the record. Please report your summary.
Thank you. The subject site is a quarter-acre property located along South Kohler Street, south of West 9th Avenue. It has an existing restaurant building, which is Pizza Hut's, and the surrounding land uses are commercial land uses. Here's a view of the subject sites. The applicant is requesting a zone change from the existing suburban mixed-use district to SMU district with a planned development overlay. And that PD overlay is intended to allow for flexibility in the zoning ordinance to accommodate redevelopment of the property, especially due to the smaller size of the site. The applicant is proposing to demolish the existing building and parking lot on the subject site for development of a 530 square foot drive-through coffee shop with a 2-lane drive-through that wraps around the building. The proposed development will be accessed from shared parking lot with driveway accesses to the north and south of the site. The applicant is requesting a BSM for reduced front, side, and rear yard setbacks, as drive-through lanes will extend in, within 13.5 feet of the front property line along South Kohler Street, and will have 0-foot side and rear yard setbacks. There was a Plan Commission workshop back in December of last year with the Plan Commission voicing support for the proposed land use, and they recommended increased landscaping to offset the reduced setbacks and to provide screening from the drive-through lane headlights on the front side of the property. So staff is supportive of the reduced setbacks, as the limited available space on the site does not make it feasible to meet those setback requirements, and they have backed off as much as possible from the right-of-way to allow additional landscaping on the front side. The applicant is also requesting a BSM to allow 0 parking spaces on site, where code requires 2 parking spaces based on the building size. Staff is supportive of the parking reduction due to the limited available space on the property. The applicant has access to shared parking stalls in the adjoining parking lots. Also, minimal parking is needed for the sites, as it is a drive-through service only with no indoor service available to customers. The applicant states that orders are taken via tablets in the drive-through lanes, and employees then serve customers on the south side of the building. The total proposed impervious surface area for the site exceeds the maximum of 70% at 78.1% for the SMU district. Staff is supportive of the increased impervious surface ratio due to the relatively small size of the lot, which makes it difficult for even a minimally sized commercial development to be within that 70% maximum. Here's the proposed lighting plan. The applicant is requesting a BSM to allow increased lighting to 0.9-foot candles along the north and south property lines, and 1.7-foot candles along the west rear property line, where the maximum is a half-a-foot candle at the property lines. Staff does not have concerns with the increased lighting level along these property lines, as it's abutting shared parking areas. Here's the landscaping plan. For building foundation landscaping, they will not have plantings around the building as required by code. Code requires plantings to be within 10 feet of the building foundation. According to the applicant, it is not possible to plant landscaping around the principal building due to operational requirements for the drive-through and walkways around the building. Staff is supportive of the proposed BSM due to the site limitations and the unique use of the building, which requires employee walkways and pavement around the building. And the applicant has provided the required points near the refuse enclosure and cooler to the north of the principal building. They are meeting requirements for paved areas and street frontages, and the plan provides almost triple the required total landscaping points for the site. The applicant also has increased the planting size of arborvitae trees on the street side of the drive lanes from the code minimum of 4 feet to 6 feet tall, and the increased landscaping points and planting size serves to offset the requested BSMs. It also provides increased buffering of headlights from the public right-of-way. Here are the building elevations. So this one is the front facing facade, and this is the rear facade. The applicant is requesting a BSM to allow Nichia fiber cement siding as a Class 1 material to meet the 50% Class 1 requirement of each facade. So the proposed Nichia is a fiber cement, which is considered a Class 3. We do have a sample to pass around. And then here are the side, north and south elevations. So although Nichia fiber cement is considered a Class 3 material, staff feels that Nichia fiber cement is a high-quality, durable material that is comparable with other Class 1 materials, and the fiber cement will provide a brick-like appearance for the proposed building, which will be compatible with the building facades of the neighboring commercial uses along South Kohler Street. With that, staff recommends approval of the rezone, GDP, and SIP.
Okay, Plan Commission, any technical questions for staff?
Any future proposals to improve the flow of this particular area? I drive past there quite frequently and did again today. And it's just, that whole area is just very difficult. And I think, when you take a look at at Kohler there and the entrance into this area, and I think Pizza Hut may have struggled because of the getting into that particular site, and that traffic flow is so difficult. Is there anything possible in the future that we could do to improve the flow of traffic in that area to make this more successful?
It's ultimately a non-conforming situation the way it's laid out, but when they do need to have the parking lot replaced, we could work with them at that time to get better traffic flow and more in compliance with current codes.
Right, and the entrance and exit, anybody that travels on there knows that if you're turning right into any of those businesses, it's slow and difficult and could potentially be hazardous.
Any other technical questions for staff? Okay, I'm seeing none. I'm going to open this to the public hearing and request a statement from the applicant. Is the applicant here? Would you please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes. Good evening. Eric Drazkowski with Excel Engineering. I was the civil engineer, 100 Camelot Drive, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I was the civil engineer who worked on this plan. Staff summed up the project very well. As you know, we came in for the workshop back in December. Worked with staff with their recommendations thereafter, after the initial submittal, and the attached plan is the result of us working with to try to meet the base standard modifications. We've added the landscaping, shield the headlights, that sort of thing. So that's really it. I can answer any questions that anybody may have.
Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm supposed to wait on a question.
Nope, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I forgot to check to see if there's a driveway entrance onto Keller, like right there at the south end of the building? Or is, no?
No, it's the main entrance south of, what is that, Potbelly's?
Oh, I see, down there, good, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other members of the public that wish to make a statement on this agenda item? Any other members of the public? Okay, seeing none, I'm closing public hearing, and the applicant, would you like to make a closing statement? Okay. Commission, the action is upon you.
Motion to adopt the findings and recommendations as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion?
I guess I have a question.
Okay.
So what's it going to look like from Kohler? Is it going to be a big bank of 8-foot trees? So, or it's, I mean, do we have a, I know there's a west face, but we're putting in these really tall trees. Is it just going to be like a wooded area that we can't see the building? Is it just going to be, I was thinking about which way does the building face? What is it, what presentation does it do on the drive? Or is it all facing the parking lot? And do you have a sense of what this thing is going to look like in practice?
Yeah, so it will have that street presence with these arborvitae trees here. I don't know the exact height that they grow to at maturity, but yeah, they will be along the right of way. And then here again is the street facing facades. It'll have the arborvitae kind of wrapping around the drive-through on that side of it.
Well, so I mean, that's what I was thinking about. Is you're putting arborvitae there, is that a lighted sign that'll just be covered up as the trees grow? Is that, I mean, I was just thinking about the face of Kohler, which is bad enough as it is. Are we just putting in a big berm of trees at that
Not all bad.
stretch? Which is not bad, but it's just a weird, I mean, but it's also a band of arborvitae, which is not, it's just an odd presentation for that street. That was all the sort of comment about this design. I mean, almost shorter arborvitae might be better, so you can still see that it's actually a business there.
And we did feel the arborvitae were necessary due to, again,
Sure.
the headlights. So
Right.
we felt it was necessary to prevent that glare. So.
Joshua?
Yeah, in regards to that, I think, you know, when we had that workshop, we did kind of bring up your point, and the layout doesn't really make sense in this picture here, but I think there's a really good job of how they set it up where they guide you when you get into that parking lot. They kind of like lead you into the in and then the out. And then I know we had a pretty good conversation about the trees, and the chairman who was there at the time said that we should have more there because the headlights are, you know, everybody's going to be in the drive-through and it's going to hit you and hit you. And I think they really exceeded our expectations of how many trees they could put up, which is pretty great. And I guess the best example I can think of, you know, you look at the arborvitaes where they would be at, you think Taco John's over by Lourdes. I think they had those for a while, and they grew up pretty big, but you could still see Taco John's. And I think this kind of resembles that same building and layout, I guess. So I hope that kind of gives us a better understanding of that.
And I think when they got too big at Taco John's, they did take them down this last summer. Replaced them with other landscaping, so. Okay. Any other discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none, let's have a roll call vote then.
Mr. Bowen?
Present.
Ms. Prop?
Aye.
Mr. Rucker?
Aye.
Mr. Belleville?
Aye.
Ms. Davy?
Aye. Mr.
Lowenstein?
Aye.
Vice Chair Kiefer.
Aye.
Motion carried 6-0 and 1 present.
Okay, item number 5, approval of a design alteration review for a third-story addition at 600 Oregon Street. General Contracting Services LLC is the owner and Corey Wallace is the applicant. Have there been any site inspection?
Aye.
Okay, the staff report is accepted as part of the record. Please report your summary.
Thank you. So the subject site is a mixed commercial residential development at the southeast corner of Oregon Street and West 6th Ave. It is zoned central mixed use district, and the surrounding area is predominantly commercial uses. Here's a view of the subject site. In 2022, Plan Commission approved a central mixed use district review to allow building modifications to the subject site, along with a parking lot expansion and a new garage on the neighboring property to the east. So this was approved in 2022, the new garage and parking area for tenants. And here's the current 2024 Google Street View of the subject site. Again, the project was never completed, so this was what it currently looks like, with the 2022 project having never been completed. The applicant is proposing to amend the approved plans for the building to include a third-story addition. So here's the west elevation. So this would be facing Oregon Street. So this is the existing elevation, and this is the approved elevation of the first and second story, and then the third story they're proposing in addition. And as the only change being proposed at this time. The proposed third-story addition will be about 250 square feet in area and 9 foot 1 inch high. It is proposed to be accessed from a spiral staircase from within the second floor residential unit. The applicant notes that it will be a flexible use space that may be used by residents for a variety of purposes, such as a reading room, lounge area, or recreation room. The exterior of the proposed third-story addition is proposed to have horizontal lap siding to match the previously approved tenant garage building to the east of the principal building. The siding is proposed to be brown tone color, intended to be contextual with the brown tone of the existing brick finish of the existing building's first and second floor. So here's kind of a color rendering showing the kind of the brown tone of the third-story addition. According to the applicant, the third floor room takes on the form of a penthouse. As is not common for traditional penthouses, the exterior materials are proposed to not match, but to be similar and contextual to the materials of the main building facade. So staff does not have concerns with the increased building height, as it will remain compatible with neighboring two-story building heights. The CMU district design standards state that selected building materials shall be compatible with those existing buildings in the immediate area, and standards also state that siding may be appropriate, particularly if the proposed non-masonry exterior was used on a building which conforms to the Central Mixed Use District design theme as determined by the Plan Commission. The neighboring building to the south of the site is constructed with siding, while the buildings to the west across Oregon Street are primarily brick. Staff does not have concerns with the design of the third-story addition, as it is relatively small in size and acts as a traditional penthouse addition, and the street-facing sides consist predominantly of window openings, which appear to match the trim of the approved building modifications. Although there are non-masonry materials utilized in the surrounding area, staff has potential concerns with allowing lap siding on the addition of an existing masonry building. Therefore, staff is recommending Plan Commission make the determination on if the proposed lap siding is an appropriate exterior material for the proposed addition. So with that, staff recommends approval or denial of the proposed design alteration review be determined by Plan Commission.
Plan Commission, is there any just technical questions for staff?
The development is specifically, from what I understand here, use of the proposed room is an extension of just one unit on the second floor, is that correct?
Correct. There are 2 units on the second floor, and this will be accessed from the northerly of the 2 units.
So both units will have access to this addition?
I believe just one. I believe just the north unit has access to it, but the applicant should be able to verify that.
Thank you.
Kathy?
I honestly don't know what lap siding is. So if you're asking us to say that lap siding is fine on this, I don't think I have information about that.
It's just horizontal wood siding.
Just like that, just ordinary.
Generally speaking, I would imagine it's wood.
And the plans
Something
called,
good look.
called lap siding, and they did note that it matches the garage building that was shown as fiber cement.
Maybe ask that question.
That might be a question for the applicant.
Ed, did you?
I mean, my question deals with the garage. I'm assuming that if we're going to approve a material that's contextual to the overall development because it's on a building that hasn't been built, that building is going to be built. I mean, it's probably a question for the applicant, but I guess that's my...
From my understanding, yes, they still
That's
plan to build
understanding.
a garage.
Yeah. Okay.
Is this a historic register building?
It is not.
Okay. Historic, but not on the register?
Yes.
Okay.
Carl, do you have a statement? No.
Okay. There isn't going to be any access to outside. It's completely enclosed.
Correct, yeah, just interior access through a staircase.
Okay. Okay, seeing no other technical questions, I'm going to open this public comment and request a statement from the applicant. Is the applicant here?
Yeah.
Okay, could you approach the podium and state your name and address for our records, please?
Matt Vianola from 4820 Country Club Road. In regards to the material on the third story, we chose lap siding because there isn't a lot of space. Like most of the material above the windows, that's basically like wide trim boards. So the only place we're really having to get a lap siding would be underneath the windows. And with that parapet, there's really no showing of any kind of like horizontal siding basically. So it didn't pay to put brick up on top. Plus that brick is pretty hard to match on that 135-year-old building. It'll stand out more if it's not exact. So I don't know if you have any more questions. Yep.
Are the windows, as we see on two sides here, the same on all four sides?
Yes, they're the same on all four sides. We actually completed the windows downstairs. That picture of the current is all the windows on the first floor and the second floor are completely done. It's a black aluminum framed plate glass window, stationary, non-functioning window. So the uppers will be matching. Besides, I'll probably have them a casement style so they can actually open them up if they wanted to draft with a nice breeze across the living room. Or I guess it would be like a party room or whatever you want to call it up there. You're kind of limited what it can be because you have a spiral staircase to get up there, so you can't bring a pool table up the staircase.
You're not going to get a piano up there, are you?
So no pianos. I mean, but it's just kind of just a viewing room of the city of Oshkosh and then a river in front and that kind of thing. So.
Is this a rental unit, or would it be a unit somebody owns?
You know, right now, it's, we propose as a rental, I believe, I think on the original build. But I suppose certainly down the line, it could be a condo situation where you could sell them off. Because they're gonna be high-end units. They're gonna be pretty upper end, so very high quality finishes on the inside. So.
Good, thank you.
Kathy, did you get your verification on or clarification on the siding? Are we still?
Well, some people had asked the question about, it's not going to be the same material that the garage is being built with.
The bottom half below the windows would probably be that masonry cement board, which is a lap siding.
Okay.
But again, it's not, I mean, to view that building at 90 degrees like it shows on the elevation, to see it from the street, you're not going to see this much below the window because there's a parapet wall that's that tall. So
okay, yeah.
It'll be pretty much all that stuff will be lower than basically a view of it versus.
Okay, so we're basically going to be see the windows.
Pretty much windows, yeah.
Only from the street.
Pretty much, yes. I mean, because even if you can't go far to the west, you can't go far any direction because there's buildings everywhere.
Right.
So, and even at that, you're still looking at an angle from the street level, so you can't really see it.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, yeah.
So what's going above the window, is that lap siding?
No, that'd be more of like a freeze runner board type, like a wide masonry board, trim board, multi-thicknesses. You know, it'll kind of step out. It'll kind of resemble the facade, how the brick is. You know, it kind of steps out. But
I like the soffit on the second floor. My worry is that you're going to have that particular would be the one thing you see, and if it looks just like lap siding or...
No, it won't be any lap on top. It'll be all wide trim, like masonry trim boards. 10 inches wide, I guess, or however it ends up laying out above the window to the top of the roof. Because that's also going to have a flat roof on top of that, so it'll have a mini parapet wall type setup above the windows. So it'll resemble the exact style of that building. Just besides, the old Cream City bricks are pretty hard to match, you know, from 1891. You know, it's kind of, I mean, I suppose if I really search, I can find them, but it'd be pointless because you can't see them. So, but.
Yeah, I know, I was just thinking about the, I'm
Yeah.
just thinking about the top trim. I don't want
Yeah.
that to look.
No, that won't be vinyl siding. It'll be all masonry, heavy, 2 or 3 layer thick siding, so it'll have a lot of dimension to it.
Okay, any other questions then?
And as part of the overall project completion, the garage is going to be finished as part of this?
Correct, yes, yep, we need it for the upstairs tenant parking, or I mean, covered parking.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else for the applicants? Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Is there anybody else from the public that would like to speak on this item?
I'm Chris North, address is 611 Oregon Street. I'm kitty corner from this building, and I really look forward to the project. I think that it's a good welcoming as you come over Oregon Street. I think it's a good representation to bring people on the south side. And, you know, I mean, despite coming up with siding figures, you know, you figure all the siding stuff out or whatever, but I think it's just, as a whole, the project is really going to be a good adder for the area. So just wanted to say that.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else from the public who wishes? Okay, seeing none, would the applicant like to make a closing statement?
I think you said it pretty well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commission, the action is upon you.
I don't know how
have
to do
laryngitis
this
right
one.
now. Motion to
Yes.
adopt the findings and recommendations as stated in the staff report.
You should have told us here.
But the staff report
We're supposed to make a
didn't
modification.
make a recommendation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so left with the plan commission to make the determination.
Oh, that's right.
So how would you like us to state
Yeah,
that?
I'm sorry.
We'd word it in the affirmative that we approve the material and design as laid out in the staff report?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make the
I'll
motion.
make that motion.
I'll second
Whatever it is that
that.
I just said, let's just say that. Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the design and materials as shown in the staff report.
Second.
Give a second. Any discussion on the motion?
And then I have a comment on my own motion. The one thing that probably could have been helpful here, and we don't do a lot of these, right? Like, probably like having him bring a sample would have been a winner, because that
helped. That would have helped.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know what I think lap siding is. Clearly, what I think lap siding is and what you may be using here might be a little different. What you understand it to be and what...
That material you're handling before, that was the form of labs that we're using,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
But, I mean, like, it's a material that can be made of a lot of different, it can be fiber cement, it can be wood, it can be whatever it is. It can be a lot of different stuff. So that would just be something for the... You may see us bumbling around a lot less if we had something like that.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, we'll still bumble, but... That's all.
Any other comments on the motion?
I actually kind of like this. I'm definitely going to support it. I think it is a nice addition to the neighborhood. And I did have one other neighbor that had mentioned this to me, and they were very much in support of it too, but couldn't be here today. So if neighbors like it and it looks this good, I think that's a win.
I think the work that's been done so far is pretty great. When you drive by, it is really, the new windows are very impressive, so I don't have too many qualms about what we're going to see up on
It'll be
top.
nice, very nice.
Okay, seeing no more discussion, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bowen?
Aye.
Ms. Prom?
Aye.
Mr. Rucker?
Aye.
Mr. Belville?
Aye.
Ms. Davy?
Aye.
Mr. Lowenstein?
Aye.
Vice Chair Kiefer.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0.
Okay, next item is adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Voice vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.